Hey guys, it's Af here. I'm bringing you a video about my formation and what I've been using for Galaxy League. This has managed to get me to about top 50 to top 100. The top placing I managed to get was 43 before all the competitive players started getting, competitive and resetting more than I do. So, yeah, I couldn't exactly reach Universe. I don't think I will be able to reach Universe as I can barely kill Ein. Which is a bit of a problem. So I will be eventually transitioning over to Whirlwind and Thunder. I will be building a Leventor with Kerner and Vanity. I've got the Carpilla building up, and as well as Askeladd will help against all those AB teams, and it gives me quote-unquote tempo. So yes, that is what I'll be building. I was considering Valerie, but at the same time it was like, well, I'm not really interested in players who deal damage by not critting, pure raw damage. They don't interest me in the slightest, so I'm not going to bother with Valerie. So I will start off with obviously my current team, what I've been using. This is my default team, and I'll show you my sub players in a moment. So yeah, I'm running Miri. Obviously, she's probably the best striker in the game currently. I'm running her with attack power by 20%, not the crit rate. I could be running the crit rate to go against Kerner's, but 12% crit rate isn't really worth it. I'd rather run a WMT on my Aslan, which I do, which will help Miri. So yeah, I'm running Shaking Heart of Thunder and God of Fire's Judgment Legend Unique. Ardor crit damage and 2 Whirlwind penetrations. As I'm not running the penetration ace for her, I lack penetration, so this is the build I have gone with. And unfortunately I don't actually have Eltachusa's chain, as I don't have Fenrir, but that's fine, she's still doing enough damage to output a lot. Next I've got Evelyn. Evelyn's very good because she gets hit, and she gains action bar, which actually helps a lot against these tempo teams. I've built her with some reflex and teamwork, and I've given her some reflex in Craving Flash and her amplified lightning, so hopefully she can get that 50% reflexes when she gets attacked, and then she can then counterattack and pass. Of course, I've also built her for Prey Sentence, so that can generate some spirit along with the Ardor pass. I have all 3 chains unlocked. Again, for my team it's very easy. Unfortunately I haven't had Scorn somehow, so I haven't had this Fighting Spirit chain against Melissa, but that is fine, I'm not too fussed about that. Next I'm running Eltachusa. Eltachusa is a no-brainer for any Whirlwind player. She is probably the strongest passer for Whirlwinds, and she has access to Whirlwind's other penetration. Because there's 2 sources of penetration that Whirlwind have. I will get to the other one in a moment. But yes, I'm running Eltachusa. Of course, you get the penetration on the active, you get the attack power and critical rate whenever an enemy team becomes unable to move. And of course, Disturb, which is very good for applying more damage than you can. She's very good at passing, her numbers are very good. I end up around about 2,600 to 2,800 passes with Eltachusa, which is nice. If I had the 30% receiving pass effect bonus, it would probably be about 3,000. So I'm very happy with Eltachusa's performance. She's doing very, very well, and she's very, very tanky. So, and I've also got reflexes here, which I really need to re-roll to pass. But at the same time, I do, as I'm obviously building an Evelyn, and I've got Iolos as well, which I sometimes do put in the front. Reflexes is kind of handy because it also helps me wall, and I really, really want to stay in my front for as long as possible. So next player I have Aslan. Aslan is also another no-brainer. She's not buffing anyone except for herself, Kirel and Irie, which is a bit unfortunate. A lot of Irie's totems are leaders and passers, so it's like, well, okay, I kind of don't benefit off that, but at the same time, Irie's vitality is so low, I have to run Aslan, so... But it's alright though, because she's actually genuinely a good player. And as I said before, I'm running WMT for the extra crit rate, 15% crit rate for Miri, and then 2 Gnawing Abyss. And the reason I'm running 2 Gnawing Abyss is because I've noticed her AI likes to attack a lot, and I mean 2v1 attacks, and she kills herself. So if the enemies are at least low, hopefully she'll get some chance of going through. So yeah, that gives her better chances. If her AI wasn't as dumb, then I would be running double Dark Steel for that Spirit Generation, which is very good for Miri, considering Miri has a 3 bar active. Her active at 1 bar is a little bit of a shame, so generating as much Spirit for Miri is the best thing you could do for her. Next I have Kirael. He's another obvious no-brainer for Mono Whirlwind. I'm not running any points into Cataclysm because, I mean, it's kind of pointless, right? Kirael doesn't steal. He just killed himself. So it's like, well, why would I run that? I'd only run this in live PvP, put points into this in live PvP, where I'm trying to manually penetrate, but I don't do that. There's actually some clips of some live PvP coming up later. I will show you guys that later. And I'm running Terranox Bloods, Ardor HP, and double crit damage stones here. And of course, I believe that is action speed. It is indeed. And it's just because he's pretty slow. He is pretty slow. Next I'm running Narazel. I actually was running Frozen Spear Tip before, but then I realised, well, actually I can't really run Frozen Spear Tip because I need as much tempo as I can. So Ignition Catalyst Narazel it became. Yeah, she sets a lot of matches up for me because she gives me the extra 20% spirit as well. She's just generally giving pass as well to my midline, and as well as if she can steal that cheeky ball off Felix, which is marvellous, and that can give me a lot of tempo. Again though, Felix isn't the character I'm most worried about anymore because well, I mean, there's a better Ardor centre mid who happens to have a 6-minute forward pass and happens to wall and does a ton of reflect damage and pretty much does everything a midline needs. So I'm not really worried about Felix currently, but yes, she's very good versus Felix. Yeah. For her chains, unfortunately I don't have Zing. Zing's on Helper, so I actually need to do this. Aslan needs this. This would be very great, 12% of reflex. It's not that great, but I mean, it will give me this, which will give me Iolos. Well, against Iolos. There are some teams who still run Iolos, even though Iolos is very slow. Yeah, of course I got the action speed from... Oh, I'm not running any action speed. Okay, so I would have had action speed from Khalid, maybe some maybe Elytris, because I know I was transitioning over to Elytris. I would have it for Rudeal as well, but unfortunately I haven't built up a Rudeal. I'm not interested in building up a Rudeal, which is a bit dumb of me because I need to. Fortunately for me, Thunder has a lot of good stealers, so I will be running into those. And of course the pass effect when I had Beatrice on my team, Pepe Hands. Next I have Saramir. Saramir is a must-have for Irie. She must always have, well, she must always be in our Irie team because of the affection chain that Irie has for Saramir. She is one of my escapes. Of course there are a lot of interception characters being released now, but long pass is very, very key to getting out, especially with leaders and passes in your backline. No Pain No Gain is very great considering I've built her for co-op, which means that she generates 30% spirit when being attacked. I mean, it's not as good as Aslan's where it's 30% spirit on an action or being attacked, but again, I can't be choosy with it. Overwhelming 2 decreases critical rate and reflexes the enemy position by 30%. Again, very, very good for Irie. And of course, her best skill, in my opinion, Barrier of Apocalypse. decreases action speed by 20%, which is not the reason why I take it, and pass effect by 30% of the enemies with the position. So that pass effect of 30% is actually reducing 30% of potential raw damage, which is the reason why she is probably one of the best characters you could run on Airi, because you're taking away 30% of that potential dribble that striker's going to get. So yeah, she deals with that, thankfully, so she's a very, very key player to my backline. I could not run Airi without her. And of course, the chains pass effect by 20% with both Magnus and Hylos. Action speed with Airi, which is also great. And of course, reflexes with Beatrice and Ravian. Back when I used to run them both, I ran Ravian as my first striker. Back when back during the hero days, before Ravian basically did 20% maximum HP to the entire enemy team. So yeah, yeah, Saramir's been here for a very long time, and I do appreciate that. And of course, fighting spirit against Scylla and Dynames. I haven't seen any Dynames yet, which is a bit unfortunate because I want to see more of him. Scylla is very interesting because I only see her in... I've seen her with one Damien, and then the rest are like mono lights with heroes, and it's like, okay, well, that's a bit better. Magnus is also another must-have for Airi. I mean, reduces the damage that you take from Ardor players. I think against Bora, Leo and William, this is probably key, honestly. 30% of pure damage reduction is just so good, especially with a crit resistance goalkeeper, and the fact that Ardor have such a... they just hurt for so much. Magnus reduces a lot of that, and it's mostly thanks to him that my Airi actually survives. He's also my main line breaker, surprisingly, because he has a lot of reflexes by 35%, and then of course he has the action speed by 20%, max HP by 20%, and decreases incoming damage by 10%, which also synergizes well with Saramir, as they both have an action speed bonus, whatever it's a debuff or a buff, by 20%. Excuse me. And these are the stones I'm running on him. It's Eye of the Storm with whirlwind action speeds and 2 light reflexes. It stops him getting stolen from reflexes and counterattacks, and for some reason he manages to always get through the middle. Well, not always, he does sometimes. The front he gets through, and that is because of a specific player, which I'm going to come to now. I might as well come to it now. I'll ignore his chains. It's friendship, action speed, attack power. That's quite vital with Aslan. But again, the main reason why Magnus manages to get through the backline is because of Grandeur. Now, Grandeur to me at first sight was like, oh, okay, well, she has no crit resistance. Well, she has some crit resistance in her skills, but it's very minimal, and that's what upset me about her. But when I looked at her closely, excluding the A skill, I was like, oh, okay, with an Airi backline for Mono Whirlwind, of course, I'm decreasing the pure attack power by 30%, because it accumulates up to 2 times, and I'm decreasing their DR by 20%. So Magnus's reflect damage is going to be off the charts. You know, I get a pass from Saramir on onto Magnus, and then they attack my Magnus. Oh, my Magnus kills that character because, well, their front lines are made to pass, aren't they? They're not made to kill, and so Magnus kills them because they got minus 20% DR and minus 30% attack power. So she's generally very good. I'm not bothered about or prepared at all for Grandeur. Again, I'm only running her for the totems. Plus 40 there was questionable, but again, she's not key, but she's very helpful. So the reason why I managed to get out of my lines. Of course, you then get the defense by 30% and critical resistance by 20%, which is okay. I mean, Airi has enough defense as it is, and then decreases inflicted damage on the team by 30%, which is also okay considering it's an active skill. If this was a normal skill for like 15%, I'd be happier. But again, it's an active skill, so. And then of course I'm running CI and double crit damage and the reason I'm running CI is because Grando is actually going to be shot the most on my backline. So, well, that's the plan. So that means she's not going to be getting a chance to steal until basically until they've shot, right? So if I put Calm Icicle on, it means that she can potentially steal before that they can shoot, and with double crit damage stones, she nukes front lines. Of course, I'm running Eyeless here. Eyeless is very good. She's very flexible. In fact, she's probably one of the reasons why I'm still in meta right now, keeping Irie in meta. So I am not too keen on her active unless if it's on the front line, which is the reason why I don't reduce the skill points. This is questionable and irritating because I'm always going on about Mono Whirlwind lacking a global revive, right? Other than, of course, Miho's active and such. And it's just irritating because it's like, well, I could be running Ilo's backline if she revived the whole team on action, like certain people, or gets hit, and then, you know, they revive the entire team. That would be great, you know? I wouldn't even mind that being halved. And, you know, and then when all of a sudden it gets to whatchamacallit, freaking PvP, then gets halved again. So you're looking at 3.25, I think, no, 3.75, something like that. 3.75% HP action bar will be like 2.5, but it doesn't matter. It's the fact that I'm getting global revive. As a Whirlwind player, I've been struggling to get revives because I want my backline to revive so I don't get a 1v1 shot. If I don't get a 1v1 shot, it means, so if I get a global revive, it means I don't need to run Mark of the Bond on Saramir, like, ever. If I get a global revive, it's like, oh, I don't have to run Iola's front, because now I have to decide whether I want her front or back, and it's like, well, I know that everyone else says that you're the whatchamacallit, you're the everything that everyone's going to need, but yet she's really not. She's not as broken as people think, and people think that this move is very good, but it's like, okay, yes, sure, you shoot, she does an action, you shoot, your second shot stats go, right? That's completely understandable. I can see why you're mad at that, and this, I really think this needs a nerf, just so that she can buff the rest of her. And then it's like, oh yeah, critical rate and critical resistance by 25%. Again, it's petty. Like, nerf this and do something with these. I mean, this one doesn't, I just want it to be global, really, but that's me just being stupid about it. But again, like, nerf that to 4 times, or not when she gets attacked, and then increase this to 35%. Wow, look at that, you've made a balanced character. Anyways, carrying on, I'm running EBM and Double Darksteel. Double Darksteel is for the Spirit, again, for Miri. Miri needs the Spirit a lot. It's also so that if Iris gets a steal and she hasn't used her active, she steals the ball, gets to the mid, she then uses her active onto Kirail rather than Irie, which is better because Irie doesn't get crit, let's be honest here. Kirail then gets the ball and it's like, oh, okay, now it's an extra 45% crit damage and critical resistance on Kirail, which in my opinion is more ideal than having it on Miri or having it on Irie. So yes, that's what I'm running on Ilos, of course with the Whirlwind action speed as well. Chains having Saramir and Magnus, which is great. Friendship with Irie and Ligale, and competition with Jhin, which I don't have unfortunately, and Felix, which would be great. I really want Felix, he's my next legend on my planner. And of course, last but not least, Irie. She is my favourite player in the team, she will always be my favourite player in the team. She was there for me, so I will be there for her even in hard times. I'm running a Protection of Mother Earth with a Heart of Minerva substat. I'm running the Whirlwind DR Stone, a Ardor Reflex Stone, and a Thunder Defense Stone. I actually would be using another Thunder Defense Stone or a Whirlwind DR Stone, but with Ravian, there's more Ravians around now, especially from clubs like Mamoru, and they're very scary if they manage to get the shoot loop. So it's like, okay, if they manage to get that shoot loop, I'm dead, because I don't want to be in a 1v1 situation ever. So yeah, I'm trying to reduce that potential by putting a Ardor Reflex Stone. It's working so far, but again, there are times where it just happens randomly and it's like, oh, okay, well, I planned for this, but apparently it didn't work. But it's fine, it's what RNG is, I can't help that. And of course, the reason why I run Saramir is because I'd rather run Saramir than Vermilion Bird and a defense chain with Magnus and Ailos, which is great. I also had the potential to run Shura when I was running Damien, but I'm not fussed about Whirlwind Dark anymore. And then crit resistance, which irritates me because Poofin is there instead of a Whirlwind player. It's like, well, Poofin is great, but I'm not exactly... Like, these chains are supposed to be helping monos, right? For coherency, so that they're more viable. But again, this is the worst chain Irie could ever have. And of course, Fighting Spirit chain with Duran. Don't have Duran, so that's not happening. And yeah, so that's my current team. And then my subs were Silk this season. So Silk is very good. I'm running double Darksteel, so that when she manages to steal the ball, she can then use her active, which is 65% crit resistance when used with her other skill, which is this one, which is marvelous, and she gets an AB reset, along with Earthscry, increasing that steal potential. I have Beatrice here, who's been used in anti-one-hit KO setups because she has Flight of the Dragon, increasing the action speed by 20%. The real reason why I'm using it, because there are some one-hit KOs who are now running Ignition Catalysts on their Jiho and Key Railback, so this is helping against those, which is great. We've got Ligale here. I use Ligale as a backline penetrator, but in live PvP I'll use her as a frontline ball holder with Battalion. This is mainly when both of my passes get how to put it, when they both get banned, and obviously Nereza's going to be in the mid right, so I put Ligale in the front. She holds the ball perfectly, 90% damage reflection is like nuts. So yeah, and of course she gets penetration as well, which is the other penetration totem which I was talking about over when I was talking about Altachusa. So again, Ligale is very good for that. I've only half invested into her, but she's still very good. I mean, I haven't had anything wrong with her. I'm very happy with her performance. The others would be Ernesto. I'm not really using Ernesto as much, but yeah, he is mainly here for the totem. He doesn't do anything else, I'll be honest here. I have Miho, but again, I'm not bothered about Miho. I've always disliked Miho. She's always been one of my least favourite characters in the game. But again, she's okay, but she's much better in other teams. Khalid is for the anti-one-hit KOs, for the sharp figure, which is very good. And of course, the long pass to get it out if they don't have Wani and such. Who else do I use? Mayran is a good sub. I like Mayran. Yeah, I use Mayran for her action speed, active, along with her global buff here, and then her active there. I've reduced Inspiring too because, well, no one actually cares about their midline anymore, right? Because midlines are mainly like Choi, Nabi, a bundle of globals, more globals, Celestia, global healing, you know? So it's like, well, I don't care about Inspiring anymore, so, you know, 5 points into no pain, no gain, and hope I can wall them, you know, for another action. And yeah, those would be my Whirlwind subs. Right, and yeah, now I will start showing you some recordings of live PvP that I did with my friends. This shouldn't be my last time using Irie, but I'm hoping to switch towards Kerner, so I'm going to be using less of her. So as a tribute, I've I'm live PvPing some of my friends here, and yeah, peace. guys, this is Af one last time, just saying thank you for watching my video. I know it was a long 40-minute video. I really appreciate you guys watching this, and even then, like, you guys are so great to me, you know? So yeah, thank you for watching the video. I hope this video had helped you guys, and peace out. I shall see you guys on the next video. Ciao.